Welcome back to Digital Bytes. I'm your host, Ralph Ronzio, the technical director for the digital experience team here at Pure Storage. In today's episode, I'm going to bring on a special guest, Rob Ludeman. If you don't know who he is the host of the Pure Report podcast. So if you haven't checked it out, there'll be a link in the description directly to his podcast. Well, without further ado, let's get Rob on.
Hi, Ralph. Great to be here.
Yeah, of course. So I wanted to bring you on because we've had some pretty cool advancements in the Pure One tool itself. And we had this option for customers to be able to simulate workloads, but it was really taking existing workloads they already have that are running and sort of doing things like cloning them or scaling them. But we didn't really have an option for someone that's bringing on a brand new workload. And so we just recently put 13 application profiles. I think there's about 10 databases in there where a customer could go in and pick those with like sort of a t-shirt size, small, medium, large. And I thought with you being such a database-centric person, you really focused on that in your career, you'd be a great person to ask, like, what advantages does this have from a customer's perspective? So I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, wouldn't everybody love to have a crystal ball, right? Just to look at what they're running and what happens if you add new workloads, because there are reasons why you need to bring new things on. Perhaps you've got new projects that you're trying out, or perhaps there's spiky times during the year where you're serving different workloads. Maybe you're in retail and there's a period near the holidays where more's coming on. Wouldn't it be great to actually look at what would happen in different scenarios, but not based on past historical data of things that you have, but actually what we've been able to measure in Pure One, and to look at, say, an Oracle or an SAP HANA or even open source database workload, and to go through a number of different scenarios, as you mentioned, in small, medium, and large, and to see what the requirements would be if you were to bring on new capacity, how that workload would perform. And the best part is it's all based on data that we've measured for those 10 different databases and 13 workloads that you mentioned, Ralph.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. We sort of coined this term workload DNA, where we let Pure One Meta, the AI and machine learning engine, really learn about customer workloads and see, like, what does this SQL profile look like? How is it operating? And then sort of building that DNA to say, this is a typical scenario, or this is the typical characteristics of a smaller deployment. So I'm pretty excited about it. And I think customers are really going to get a lot of benefit out of it.
Absolutely. It really will help with planning cycles as well, right? I mean, there's different times of the year where you need to upgrade capacity, and it's just the normal things that happen. But why do that in a vacuum where you're not exactly sure what's going to happen, or if you're going to run out of space? Use this to accelerate your planning cycles and know what you need. And the best part is you get a report out and you can actually click a button and request a quote directly from Pure for what the readout gives you in Pure One. Easy to transact, easy to understand what you need. It's a beautiful thing.
I know. I think that's actually one of the most powerful things, is that a customer can drive this process all the way through. And if they decide, hey, this looks about right, what I'm going to do with my infrastructure, they can actually just generate the quote and be off and running and get in contact with their account team. So we're really trying to bring that digital experience, bring what they're used to, that ease of use to the platform. So Rob, before we go, tell us something that maybe you've never talked about on the Pure Report podcast, something about you that's unique or that you've never really told anyone.
Gosh, when people give me that question, I usually go back to my college baseball career. And if you remember the movie Bull Durham, right? Yep. And again, this is very American-centric, perhaps, since it's a baseball thing, but we got to play some games where that movie was filmed, and we hung out after the game and took batting practice, and I actually finally hit one over the fence. So I've hit a home run at Durham Athletic Park, where the movie Bull Durham was filmed. Kind of a fun thing, very random. No one would ever know that about me. And of course, I would never do a whole Pure Report around myself, but kind of a fun fact.
Oh my gosh, that's super cool. Well, Rob, I know we try to keep these short and sweet. I definitely appreciate you joining today. Lots of great insight. And will you join me maybe again in the future, I hope?
Anytime you want, and it's reciprocal. You come on the Pure Report anytime you want. Always love having you as a guest, and I love what you're doing here with the Digibytes.
Awesome. Thanks, Rob. Well, guys, if you're watching this, please go check out Rob's Pure Report podcast. I'll have a link in the description, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks, Rob.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.